Hey guys, the second one we're going to talk about today is responsibility. Now, this one won't take as long, I promise. That last one was 10 minutes, and you're like, holy cow, Miss Rossos, you could talk. Well, if we were in class, that's the reality, is how it would be anyway. But responsibility, I think, when you're in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, when you're in middle school, you're going to see a lot of changes throughout the year of most of you, I think a lot of us are country kids at heart, and we have farm animals, we have dogs, we have cats, we have things we have to take care of, and those are our responsibilities. And as you get older, you're gaining more responsibilities. So some of you, your parents are probably okay with you staying at home by yourself because you have shown yourself responsible. Meaning, do you say you're going to do what you're going to do? Do you say, hey, I'm going to take care of the dog, and your parents never have to feed or never have to water because you've been responsible with what you've been given. So that means, if your parents give you $10 and say, hey, you have this for 3 weeks, are you responsible with that money? Or do you spend it on something that's useless? That means, I think of a situation where I had a middle school girl, we had a basketball game, and not all of my players brought food and money, and so I had to leave, so I gave her money. I said, hey, here's the deal, here's $20 or whatever it was, $40. The next day, I want you to come bring me change at school. I knew that girl was so responsible that I knew that I have no doubt that she's going to give me every penny back. I have no doubt. So next day comes, she comes up to my desk and say, hey, here's the change. Literally every penny. Like, she gave me every single penny that was left of that money that I gave her. She was responsible. I knew it. Work ethic shows responsibility. When you're someone that can get just in the grind of working and bucking hay bales or cutting wood or working with your animals or mowing the lawn, like all of those things show responsibility. Right now, it's so hard to be responsible with school because it's boring online. I know a lot of you are dying doing this stuff online because it's boring. You want to be around your friends. Some of you don't even like school. You like school because you get to see your friends, and right now you don't even do that. So being responsible means you get things done when they need to be done. So, sometimes your parents are like, well, you can have this amount of Xbox time or dirt bike time if you are responsible here, right? If you're responsible with school. So eventually, when you're older, you will gain more and more and more responsibilities, even by nature of being a citizen. You can't be out at curfew past, I think it's 10 o'clock in the city. That's because typically the older you get, the more, what you should do is the older you get, the more responsible you are, but that's not always the case. But are you reliable? Are you responsible? One thing that drives me crazy is when someone says they're going to be somewhere at a certain time and they're not, and they're late. So the question then is, do you do the things that you say you're going to do? Are you on time? Are you feeding the animals when you are supposed to? So another Juby and Libby story. My roommate Emily got ducks here, which I love, but they are kind of stinky, so I don't know, but she got ducks. And so my nieces wanted them so bad. And so Mom and Dad said, hey, if you guys can be responsible and clean up your toys for 2 weeks, you can have ducks. Oh man, this was a chore. This took them forever to be responsible and keep their toys cleaned. And so finally they did. Finally they're like, okay, you've been responsible enough with your toys, we'll give you something bigger. That's just how life works. When you're responsible with something small, you get a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. So even with a job. So anyway, they get the ducks. And one of my nieces is all for it. Cleans, feeds, waters, so responsible. So this last weekend, they don't want ducks anymore because they're too smelly and they're too gross, which, yeah, they kind of are. They now want a dog or a cat. And so their dad said, hey, you have not proven yourself, one of the girls, you have not proven yourself to be responsible. You do not get that animal. Your sister has, but she actually likes the ducks, that sister does. So it's funny because even watching this happen in little kids, it's just the reality of life. Like when you're given a little and you're responsible with it, then you are given more. And so how are you? What are you like? Are you responsible with what you've been given? Or do you think, I could really work on that? So think about that. Because these two, trustworthiness and being responsible, are I think, two of the most important things that we can do. So builds great character.